Hi everybody, welcome back. I wanted to share a practice with you that has been with me for over a decade now called the Tensegrity Repair Series. You might have seen some practices on the website with this content. You can go and look at this content if you love this series. It's a Pilates-esque series where we work with all of this information that we've been gathering for the deep core, the transversus abdominals, the pelvic floor, the inner legs, right up through the midline. And then we lubricate the bigger joints of the body without weight bearing. So the magic of this series is that there's no weight on the joints and we get to lubricate them and move them in an oscillating way, which increases all this beautiful synovial fluid and health for the joints. In this series, I want you to be aware of the sounds your joints are making. So if there's a popping or a rubbing or a clicking or maybe a bone-on-bone feeling, to stay away from that. Lessen the range of the movement and see if you can get like a smooth, buttery feeling in the joint as you're just gently strengthening your core, your deep core. Okay, so beautiful series for first thing in the morning, like a moving meditation, get you all ready for the day right before bed. And maybe if you're injured, if you have mischief going on in your knees and ankles, you can stay strong, stay connected. This is called the Tensegrity series because tensegrity means the ability of a structure to have equal elements of tension and compression so that it feels whole and balanced in a variety of different movements. Okay, so I hope you enjoy it. All you need today is a block and enough space side to side that you can open your arms on your back. So of course we start with breath. Grab your block, come on down. I should mention, if you have toe spreaders, you can put them on. If you're curious about it, I'll leave a note in the description of the practice where you can learn more about those. So block under the pelvis and then grab the edges of your mat. Traction your back out so that your ribs and your pelvis feel a little further away from each other. And you can take your hands on your abdomen. Find the center point of your abdomen called the linea alba, that fascial connection in between the two pieces of the six-pack that you see in the rectus abdominis. And allow that middle part of your abdomen to descend on your exhale and expand on your inhale. You might close your eyes, land the bony parts of you that are touching the floor or the block, your pelvis, your back, your skull, your shoulders, your feet. And see if you can get this circumferential breath, breathing all the way around your low band of ribs like a jellyfish moving through the water. On your exhale, can you sense that tugging up on your pelvic floor and that squeezing together of the two frontal hip bones, so that closure of your abdomen? Stay with this breath for the practice. Okay, your legs can come up one at a time. Unite your inner knees and your big toes. You don't need to rock your knees in so that they kiss, but bring your inner knees together. Hands on that linea alba, even your fingertips can press into it. Lower your legs, but keep the center point going down. Exhale. Inhale, bring them back up, maybe beyond that 90 degree. Exhale, only go so low that you feel like you can go down through the center of your abdominals, and then inhale and come up. And test how low you can go without changing the shape of your low back. So resist that arching that can happen in the low back, your chin coming down towards your chest. Stay long. Keep the center point of your abdomen descending. Exhale to lower, inhale to lift. Now you can take your hands in prayer fashion and open them over your head as your legs lower, and then take them back to your heart as they lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then take your feet back to the earth and take the block out from underneath your pelvis. Roll your spine down. Take the block in between your knees, gently hug it there. Take your arms as if you're holding a big tree, and take your arms in a slightly different direction as your knees as you come into a floating twist. Make a smile in the air with the block and lightly squeeze it. See if you can keep your big toes together but your heels apart, so there's a slight internal rotation of the legs. Can you feel your sides working in the top of that smile so that your knees swoop up towards your armpits? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it into the center so your breath may be a lot slower than the movements, and you can take the block in between your inner ankles. Watch that your knees aren't going cross-eyed. So they're facing straight forwards, but there's a squeeze through the entire inner line of your legs. Arms in that same fashion. Keep going with the twists. Roll across your upper back as you take your feet in the opposite direction. So maybe your breath is like inhale, exhale. So a few movements per breath cycle. And you can test the edges of that movement. And you can also move your head with this. So I'm going to move my head now in the direction of my legs. So nice. Okay, coming back into the middle, take your block out and place it to the side. Hands behind the back of your head. Right knee comes in towards your chest, left foot plants. Low back almost on the floor. Stretch your leg out, hover it just above the floor. Take a full cycle of jellyfish breath. You can look at your abdomen, and when you exhale, pull the very center line of it down, almost like you're trying to flatten and widen your bladder. Hover there, press your head into your hands, and then switch sides. I'm pushing into my grounded leg to stabilize and keep everything centered, hovering the left leg above the floor. Take a breath. As you exhale, that slight hollow body, closing the door of the abdomen, pressing head into hands. Bring that left leg to plant, head down, hands on your lower abdominals, right leg up, and we'll swing the right leg down and up on its train track. So knee and ankle lining up with your hip. And this is where you can use a bit of momentum. Try to keep your core fairly stable. So you can push your pelvis and the back of your chest, your low ribs, and your head into the floor and isolate your right hip joint. And you might go inhale, a couple of movements, exhale. This is where you can pay attention to the sounds in your hip and see if you can find that place where it's a little bit quieter, a little bit softer. And switching sides as you're ready. Right foot down, left leg up. You can, with your glance, see that your knee and ankle line up with your hip track. Inhale, full jellyfish breath. Exhale, closing the door of the abdomen. Maintaining that core stability. So less movement in the back, much more movement in the hip joint. My low back's just grazing the floor here. Pelvis and chest and head are heavy. You can lower that leg as you're ready. And we'll roll over towards our right side, taking the block underneath the back of the right head. So you're leaned right on the outside of the right hip joint. Right leg is free, and you can lift and lower your inner seam of your leg. So you're finding that adductor strength. You can almost feel like you're squeezing something together in between your inner legs as you lift. And you can also crisscross your left leg across. So you feel this cross pattern through your left ribs and your right hip joint. And your right hand can also come to hold the block. So again, you could be doing this inhale and exhale. Soften your right knee as much as you need to. And then let that come down. Take your right foot onto the floor and tuck the toes, push into it, and you're a bit more on your right, properly on your right side now. And your left leg can come up in external rotation. So your knee aims for your armpit of the top leg, inseam of the leg faces forwards. Maybe at the top of that movement, you can use momentum to sort of flick your leg a little more towards straight, tugging on your hamstring. If you want here, you can, as your leg lowers, you can get a whole full lengthening through your side, and then a little bit of a side body crunch on the way up. Maybe you're doing inhale, exhale. We're going to switch sides. So I'm going to roll over onto my left side. We'll start with that external rotation one first. So you're a little more on your left side. Tuck your bottom toes under, find the mat. You can hold the block with your left hand. And then it's that external rotation of the top leg. Inner leg faces forwards. Give some attention to the clicking and popping in the hip joint. Maybe you flick the leg a little more towards straight till the top. And you can also open and close the top side a little bit as you make this movement happen. Breath all the way around your low ribs. Inhale. Exhale. And then right foot down, rolling a little onto the back of the left hip joint, so it's almost like you're leaning back, and to prevent yourself from toppling over, you have to hold a little through the deep abdominal layers. Your left inner leg lifts and lowers. And if you want, you can hold the block with your left hand and crisscross here, your right arm across. So you're finding that connection through your right ribs and your left hip joint, weaving together your core from left to right. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Roll back onto your back. You can take the block out there and place the block in between your inner knees again. Hands behind the back of your head. Press your head into your hands, and then we're curling everything in and then opening up so the low back comes off the floor, and you might tap your toes to the floor. Curling everything in and then tapping down. And give attention to the weight on the left and the right side. I have a little scoliosis in my spine, so I tend to compress more on one side as I curl up, and I can see that alignment between my shoulders and my hips. So you can always kind of shift yourself so that you land a little more into the middle. And when you're coming up, resist that pulling on the neck. So see if you can come up and keep pressing your head into your hands a little bit. It's a little more about the abdominals than the neck tension. Now you might crisscross a little bit in this. So to center and then over to one side with your torso and the other side with your legs, like you're trying to tap your opposite knee to opposite elbow. And coming down, there's an opportunity to take this block in between your inner feet. Knees pointing straight forwards, squeezing all the way up, inner thighs into your pelvic floor. Now you might roll up like this, slowly roll down, and bend and tap. Roll up, and bend and tap. As you lower here, can you look at that center point of your abdomen and think about it going directly down to the earth? If it's not, try not lowering your legs so low. And then pay attention to the little side shift that might happen on the roll up and the roll down, and see if you can keep yourself balanced on the left and right side of your rib cage and pelvis and low back. Now you might go for a few crisscross movements here, like you're trying to cross your opposite elbow to opposite knee. 5, 4, really smooth, buttery, lowering through your spine as best you can. 2, centering it out on the lower, and 1. Nice. Take the block out, rest, take a breath, and then we're gonna roll up here. So roll a little, you can hold underneath your knees. See if you can get that nice, even rolling through your lumbar spine. So instead of a cluck clunk, a real ripple. And then come all the way up. And hold yourself on your sitting bones. Sternum lifts a little bit. Let's take our block in between our knees. So here we're really connecting to this inner thigh pelvic floor connection. Legs can come up. Now you can float your arms or hold on if you like. Go a little down, kind of rolling through to your sacrum from your tailbone, and then draw in. 1, 2, maybe lower a little more. 3, 4, and 5. And then hold on your sit bones there. You can hold your knees, interlock your hand around, and take a breath. And then keeping that inner knee connection, you can separate your feet a little bit. Maybe you float. Maybe you float with your shins more parallel to the floor. Maybe you try to straighten them a little bit towards Navasana. And then slow rounding. So create that hollow body, that canoe through your body, and then start to come towards your sacrum. Maybe just your sacrum comes down, and then you come all the way back up. Take a breath. And then start to float yourself back into your Navasana. This time with the hollow body, exhale, exhale. Maybe you find your sacrum and then your low back. And then you come all the way up like a wave and take a breath. Keep length through your spine. Last one, we'll find the whole rib basket or rib cage as we come down. So tailbone, hollow, hollow through the center, pelvis, low back, upper back, and then we roll all the way back up through and create that perch on the backs of your sitting bones. A little bit of length, and then you can curl your head in. Why not? One more time if you like. We'll do it with breath. Float, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Let the block come out. Take your feet to the floor as close in towards your sitting bones as you can. Widen your knees and reach forwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you might use your hands behind you to push yourself through to your hands and knees. You might use your hands in front of you to see if you can rock from your heels to your toes onto your knees. Walk your knees a little bit back from your hips, like your tabletop is not as well measured. It's a little bit further back, almost like a plank. And then bring yourself back into a child's form. Just drag your hands back enough that you feel your whole back body just draping over your spine and your legs. Now round forwards. Round, around, around through your low back, then start to, like a wave, come through to a little bent elbow, upward dog. Come back. Your hips are sucked back towards your heels, round your low back, mid back, upper back, and widen your back sheet in child's. Breathe in, round forwards. Exhale, ripple open. Inhale, your upward dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep going with this. You might even close your eyes and see if you can find this kind of flexion and extension through your spine without strain. It's like you have all these slings and tension and compression elements that are now holding you in place, holding space in between the joints, letting your joints float, letting your joints swim. Muscle memory this. Then land in a child's form, or maybe you land right on your abdomen with your legs outstretched if the knee flexion doesn't work for you. Close your eyes and let all the sediment settle, like a pond has gone through weather and then it becomes placid and calm, all the sediment dropping to the bottom. Rolling up to have your hips on your heels or sit however is comfortable for you. You can have your hands on your thighs and feel your verticality, your length, and take a couple of mindful breaths to close your practice. All this space inside for you. Hands to your heart. Sound of Om once. Breathe in. Breathe out. In for Om. Shanti.